Welcome to my views on news. Four news stories. First one is from Tigray. Another Tigray opposition party issued a statement today lashing out at the TPLF. The party is demanding dissolution of regional government and city councils. The party accused TPLF of handing over Tigray to a foreign ruler and handing over people of Tigray to slavery. What is this party's name? What does this party want? Secondly, another Ethiopian journalist, analyst has been arrested. A long list of Ethiopian journalists who have been arrested in the last 1 year or so. The man is critical of the Prime Minister. He lashed out at the PM during the confrontation between the government and Orthodox Church recently. Thirdly, viewers, $1 million have been donated by a lady for Orthodox Church for building of a monastery in the US. The church, perhaps one of the reason behind splits within the church is financial side as well, which the government hinted at too. PM Abiy spoke on this side of the conflict a few weeks ago, I think. And lastly, why is that US is dragged into each and every conflict which is happening in Ethiopia? Why is that? Then people accuse the US of interfering in Ethiopian internal matters. I have a clip for you from US State Department when US State Department spokesperson talked to the media. And a journalist who is, I think, Ethiopian, he tried his best to force the State Department spokesperson to speak about religious conflict in Ethiopia. The spokesperson tried to evade answering the question. A clip for you. Firstly, viewers, Tigray, where now there are visible tensions, tangible friction between the ruling party TPLF and opposition parties. Three opposition parties, TIP, Baitona, Salsivujine, and TIP's meeting was attacked. TIP was not allowed to hold a meeting 3 days ago. On Saturday, I think, its meeting at a hotel was not allowed to be held. And then today, a few hours ago, Baitona issued a statement. The Great Congress of Tigray, the Congress of Great Tigray, also called Baitona. Baitona has leveled serious allegations against the TPLF-led Tigray regional government. Baitona says that ruling party in Tigray has handed over Tigray to a foreign ruler. And people of Tigray, they are now at the mercy of others, and they are now slaves. The party says that it accepted ceasefire agreement, Pretoria agreement, despite having several questions. But agreement is not being implemented. One of the core points mentioned in the agreement is establishment of interim government in Tigray to decide the future status of Tigray and to hold elections. Mainly to hold elections. But Baitona says that TPLF is delaying the establishment of interim government in Tigray. Through different excuses, it is prolonging the putting in place of interim government. And Prosperity Party in Addis Ababa is using this delay by TPLF as a pretext for delaying resumption of basic services in Tigray, which are not fully restored. So in the end, who is suffering? People are suffering. Baitona has made 4 demands. Firstly, Baitona is asking international community to intervene. That Pretoria Agreement is not being implemented, interim government is not being established. That is why now the guarantors, they should step in, they should resolve this issue because people of Tigray are suffering. Secondly, it is demanding immediate dissolution of all regional councils, city councils, which were elected in November, before November 2020 war, in September 2020 election, because new election should be held. Thirdly, it is demanding that TPLF must apologize for what it did in the last 2 years. And fourthly, it is demanding accountability of TPLF leadership. So, it cannot be clearer than this, that there are now serious internal disagreements within the ruling party, between ruling party and opposition parties in Tigray. Opposition parties are small parties, Baitona, Salsivia and TIP, small parties, but they are trying to mobilize their people. Ruling party is not allowing them to carry out any political activity. Teddy Esfao has started discussions for the formation of interim government. Is he taking Baitona on board? I think I reported yesterday that he started discussions involving several players about formation of interim government trial. But the Baitona statement, TIP's concerns indicate that opposition party, though small, they are not being taken on board. They think that TPLF is delaying the formation of interim government, and maybe TDF or Tigray military officers could be in collusion with Tigray regional government TPLF. So we can say that these are serious political issues which need to be resolved. Otherwise, Tigray is still under siege, viewers. No commercial activity allowed between Tigray and neighboring regions. No transport allowed between Tigray and neighboring regions. Still siege continuing. Why? Because Pretoria Agreement has not been fully implemented. Only Tigray has surrendered heavy weapons. Ethiopian military has withdrawn to border areas. A lot needs to be done. And it must be done as soon as possible to alleviate the suffering of the people. Secondly, viewers, another Ethiopian journalist has been arrested. He was arrested in Addis Ababa. He is critical of the government of the Prime Minister. His name is Teddy Esfao. Teddy Esfao is running a YouTube channel by the name of Ethiopia, and he uploaded some videos during the Orthodox Church conflict recently, and he criticized the Prime Minister, accused the PM of being behind the split in the church, and that led to his arrest, it seems. He was arrested today from Addis Ababa. His brother has confirmed that Teddy Esfao was taken into custody by some security forces. Who were the security forces officials? We don't know. Were they Addis Ababa police officials? Were they intelligence agency officials? It's not clear, but they were security officials. We have seen this pattern in the past as well. Journalists are arrested, and mostly intelligence agency, NIS officials are part of such raids. I think he'll be taken to a court tomorrow, because it's difficult to hide his arrest now. It has been made public by his family, by other sources. Thirdly, viewers, a lady has donated $1 million for Orthodox Church of Ethiopia to build a monastery. Mrs. Tigist Faraday is the name of the lady. The money will be used to build a monastery in the US. Orthodox Church monastery in the US. You can see her picture. It shows how large funds church receives in terms of donation. Church is allotted land as well. Governments allot lands to church. Church receives donations too. So, Orthodox Church is not a poor institution with no money. No. The church can raise money. It is raising money, building churches, holding marathons. It is involved in several activities. And church elders, some of them have dual nationalities. Their checkup is done abroad. Like Abune Matthias, the patriarch, visited US a few months ago for a regular medical checkup. Do all Ethiopians have this facility that they are able to fly abroad for medical checkup? No. Church elders, they have. Not only patriarch, others too. So that is why this dispute between the Orthodox faction led by Bone Matthias, dominated by ethnic Amharas reportedly, and the other faction from Oromia, it is about political power, it is about money, it is about lands, it is about religion as well. It is about language too. There are lots of issues. It's not just a Fan Oromo language, which is the issue between the two factions. Lastly, viewers, US is being dragged into each and every conflict ongoing in Ethiopia, while US tries to avoid this dragging into Ethiopian conflicts. The journalists, they try their best to make US officials comment on Ethiopian internal matters. US State Department held a press briefing I think 2 days ago. There is a journalist who is Ethiopian. He wanted the spokesperson of the State Department to comment about religious Orthodox conflict in Ethiopia. The spokesperson tried to evade answering the question, but the journalists kept on pressing the spokesperson. I think Ethiopians should not try to drag America into each and every conflict in Ethiopia. Why is that protest is being done in front of US State Department about the Orthodox Church issue? Orthodox Church followers loyal to Bone Matthias protested there. Now the other side, Romos, preparing to protest on Friday. Internal issues should be resolved internally. That is how countries, their people, they provide foreign elements with opportunity to intervene, to interfere in a country's internal matters. Take a listen to what happened between the spokesperson of the State Department and a journalist. Thank you for watching.
I'm asking you, I present this question to you not only as a correspondent, but also as an Orthodox Christian. The unity of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, one of the oldest in the world, and which accounts for about 40% of the country's 120 million population, is under threat after the move by the breakaway bishops who created their own synod. There should be no other synod in Ethiopia, one holy synod, one patriarch for the whole Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Ned, unless there is a peaceful solution for the current religious crisis in Ethiopia, it is difficult to imagine the magnitude of the dangers the current development in Ethiopia is posing, not only to one of the most ancient church of 1,007 years, but also to the peace and stability of the whole nation and the region. My question to you, Ned, what is the State Department's position regarding the current very dangerous situation in Ethiopia?
So this is something that we have not only addressed, but something that we have worked on intensively. And as you know well, as a result of that diplomatic effort that we have put forward and our partners in the African Union and across the African continent have put forward, there's been a cessation of hostilities agreement that has been in place since early November of last year. We recently marked 3 months of that cessation of hostilities agreement being in effect, but most importantly, for that cessation of hostilities agreement being respected by the parties themselves. We've seen a significant diminution of the violence. We are aware that Eritrean forces are withdrawing from Ethiopia. We are going to continue to attempt to build on the progress of that cessation of hostilities agreement, but to attempt to build on the progress of greater levels of stability, greater levels of security for the people of Ethiopia, all of the people of Ethiopia. Yes.
But hold 1 second, Ned. My question to you is not about the Tigray. I give a credit to the United States for bringing a peace deal between the Ethiopian government and TPLF. But the question has nothing to do with TPLF. Right now, there is another very dangerous situation which involves politics, religion, and race. It's like a coup d'etat to get rid of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. That is my question. If there is no peaceful solution, we are going to see more dangerous situations than we see in Tigray. So that's my question. What is the State Department's position right now, what we have in Ethiopia regarding this religious conflict, religious crisis?
So we are a partner to the people of Ethiopia. We're a partner to the government of Ethiopia. We've worked with stakeholders across Ethiopian society. We want to be there not only to help build on what's been achieved in Tigray, but when it comes to reports of instability in other parts of the country, we've spoken of Oromia, for example. You're raising other issues. We want to be a partner to the government of Ethiopia, to the people of Ethiopia, and we'll do what we can to support that. Yes.